Don't need that right now. Turn the page.
Party people. What is up?
Oh, what up? Ryan 840, good morning. Will is back. Yes, he is, Sarah. We're happy to have him back.
Hello. I'm back, whether you like it or not.
For all you guys taking the time, what up, Nora? Good morning.
Hello, Nora.
There it is. I was waiting for that one.
Patrick,
Morning,
good to
Pat.
see you again. We were both at that wedding last night. A lot of weddings, man. I'm all wedding out.
But you're in that wheelhouse. Wheelhouse, get it? Good morning, Ernesto. What a week, and welcome back, Willie says.
What up, Ernesto? Happy Victory Monday. This might be the best Victory Monday of all time.
So sweet.
It's good to be back, Shane. I hate watching our show, and I'm not there controlling it.
I know.
It's like a pet
I don't
peeve.
like. Hey, thanks
You
to
know what I mean?
Elijah for hanging out with us. Thanks to for stepping in, but I do not like doing it without you either. Is that fair?
No, and I appreciate you saying that. Like Elijah did, he always helped. Whenever I had take time off, I cannot take time off without him. Without him, simple as that. So I mean, I appreciate him so much.
It's just not this thing. Ernesto, we're gonna do this today.
Woo woo. Yeah, I walk in, I got mail from Ernesto. This ought to be good. Can't wait for that.
A lot of fun stuff today. We'll talk that ass whooping that happened on Saturday.
Wasn't that awesome?
Takeaways, all that good stuff. Catch up with Will. Evan Bland today, and then we're going to do a quick hitting segment on Week 1 NFL Major League. Boom, boom, boom. Rapid fire.
Yes.
NFL will get your takeaways Week 1. We'll tell you how we did, how crappy I did. Will held his own.
Even though I didn't pick.
And then real quick, we'll look at the Major League Baseball races and where we're at. Because those are a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. If you, I know it's hard to keep up with baseball this time of the year.
Yeah, it is.
You know, because you got that weekend college football, NFL getting kicked off. There's a lot going on.
Right.
But baseball is down to they're at 143-ish games.
And if you're a Royals fan, you're really paying attention.
Yeah.
Because not only is the wild card in play, I would argue first place, the division title is in play.
Also, there's some surprise teams in the wild card that are making a push with about 20 games left.
They're sneaking up.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Those damn Tigers.
I said Evan Bland. Well, yeah, Evan Bland, too. Fall ball. They kicked off for baseball.
Oh, really? Well, it's hard to focus on something other than football today.
I know it is.
But let's get to it.
Got to turn the page, though. Here we go.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there.
Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy Victory Monday. Welcome to the Morning Hook. That never felt so good. Happy Victory Monday.
All right.
Woo!
Yes.
My goodness. You played that song, and I like goosebumps. You see him? Automatically came back. My mind went right back to the stadium where I was at. And a lot of other people were. My goodness.
Are you alive? I can't
Barely.
tell. Are you?
Barely. I got to tell you, it was a long week, first of all.
I think I still smell like Crown on you.
Probably. Boy, long week, though, Will Wilson. Hope you had a great time. We're going to talk about your trip coming up. Special thanks to Elijah. Hanging out while Will was gone, giving Will the space to get away, take some R&R, go to a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Theo Malone, hanging out on Friday. And I didn't talk about it a lot, but I was gone. No, they talked about it a little bit, but my Stacy's grandpa passed away last week. I was at a funeral, his funeral on Friday.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's all right, man. It was good, man. 94, 95, good run.
That is a hell
sad times, happy time, right? Sad and happy, all at the same time.
Right, yeah.
But
love to the family there.
Thank you for giving me the space to be able to go do that with the fam and hang out. And thank you guys as well for still hanging out with them and Dr. Dane Todd and Jeff Moats.
Yeah, that was. I watched a little bit of that show. That was fun.
It was fun. I love. We did go back. You were interested, and I got interested as how they were going to kick this show off.
Yeah,
they were not comfortable kicking the show off.
Nobody wanted to take it.
No,
you know, it's it's easy for you and I because you always do that. But for those guys' case, it's like who's going to do it?
It's a little anxiety that runs through. I'm sure they had a little anxiety.
Well, they did a really good job.
They did. They did
a really good job.
Thank you guys.
It was a big show, leading into one of the biggest games we've had in however long.
Fullback Friday before Colorado.
Yes,
that's a big one.
It's a big one.
So I appreciate them. We appreciate them for doing that. So, Will, man, Colorado, you were at this Blackhawk place. Well, and I've never been. I passed it every time I go through Colorado or Denver or wherever we're headed. I always see it, but I've always got kids. I can never make that ramp up.
Yeah, well, you should.
It's got the overhang, and you're like, oh yeah, it's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Oh my God, let me tell you, man. And for the record, we had an Airbnb outside of Idaho Springs. The only time I went to this Blackhawk place was for the bachelor party. Yeah. And maybe to go check out the casino a little bit. But let me tell you about this place. I mean, you turn that corner and it's a Vegas. It's a mini Vegas in the mountains.
Yeah,
there's
I've never
20 casinos right there. That's all it is in that town is casinos.
Places to stay though up there too?
Oh yeah, each casino has hotels.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Now I didn't win any money, but it was awesome.
But you didn't lose. You didn't say you didn't lose.
Well, we don't need to talk about that.
Okay, moving on.
But it was a beautiful time. Went up there for my buddy. You met Cam and Eiley.
You
met Cam and Eiley. They got married up there.
Were those remind me? Were those the couple I met at the basketball game?
Yes.
Up and in.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, man. It was beautiful. Just a beautiful wedding. Congrats to those two. Some of my best friends. And the wedding was lovely. Rained a little bit, but we got through it. It was awesome. Such a fun time.
A little rain and wedding never hurt anybody.
No, not at all. Not at all. And
good times. You got up there. You got to see everybody. You got to new experiences, all that good stuff while you're up there. And then then you come back, get another wedding.
Well, and I wanted to come back Friday to work Saturday.
Yeah, of course you did, because you're like,
and it was crazy that day.
I mean, that'll cover the cost of you being gone, probably.
It did, actually. So I wanted to get back for that. Of course, got off work, went to the game for a little bit. Did make it to Memorial.
Had a baby
to see the game a little bit. And and then I had to go to another wedding last night in Omaha.
You need a break.
Congrats to McKenna and Gavin. A lot of congrats to be thrown out.
I know, man. Wow.
It was a beautiful wedding as well. So we stayed the night up there. I just got back about an hour ago. So
what?
Big
you just rolled back into town?
Yeah, I came from Omaha straight here.
Wow.
It was, man, I could use a nap or something. But anyway, what a week.
What a week, man. What a week you had. What a week y'all. But you guys had a great week, a great weekend. But nothing more electric than the ass whooping that Nebraska put on Colorado on Saturday. First of all, shout out the city. Shout out the fans. We went down at 1:00, and I'm tell you what, I'm trying to go back. Was it Miami back when they were here? The buzz in the city, the buzz downtown, the local establishments that were busy, the cars, the parking, whatever. You just felt it. You felt an energy going through there. Whether you're, again, pick the spot. You're at the tavern. You said you guys were wall-to-wall people, man. Everybody in red. Just the anticipation, the anxiety, the not knowing. Is this the time for Nebraska? A lot of questions were being asked. If not today, when will it ever happen? I heard a lot of that. Right? A lot of cautious optimism going in. But I tell you what, then you got in the stadium, and what, if you got a chance to go, my goodness, what a buzz. I'm talking, first you get the music going, all that stuff. You see the fans. I dictate a lot of how this is going to go by the student section. When I got there, I had heard they had been there for a long ass time.
They got there early.
And by the way, also you dictate about what's going to happen in the second half. They didn't leave at halftime. They stayed. But boy, what an atmosphere. The buzz, the noise. Nebraska gets off to a great start. They get it done 28-10. Never really in doubt. I know people are like, well, the second half wasn't that good. But never a doubt. Controlling the line of scrimmage, knocking Shadur down a lot, sacking him 6 times. First play or whatever, Dowdell gets the ball. Boom, he made a statement by going right into Shiloh. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want somebody to get hurt. Broke a forearm.
Shiloh.
But they don't tackle.
Such a funny name. Shiloh.
Right? Shiloh.
Wasn't there a guy named Shiloh in a movie?
Maybe. I don't know.
But he broke his arm.
Yeah. Arm. So he was gone. Nebraska, relentless pressure on defense, ran the ball well. They go out, get 22 first downs of 15. Defensively, it was just, my goodness.
You set the tone early.
Here's the deal. Colorado goes 4 of 14 on third down, 1 of 3 on fourth down, by the way. Couple huge stuffs in that game. Overall, 334 yards of offense for Nebraska. Balance, 149 on the ground, 185 passing. 16 rushing yards for Colorado.
So only 16.
At one point at halftime, I believe it was -17 due to all the sacks.
Yeah.
That were going down. They get 244 to 260 total. Nebraska does not give up a sack officially on there. We do get a pick 6. Tommy Hill, congratulations.
That was probably one of the loudest plays in Memorial in 10 years.
Yep. You control the line of scrimmage. 35 minutes total, 24 minutes for Colorado. Stat-wise, you look, man, Nebraska did enough. Raiola, 23 of 30, 185. Dowdell, 74 more yards on the ground. Ramir Johnson, by the way, is going to go talked about a lot probably. He had 8 catches in this game for 49 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and
that was a pretty close one.
Touchdown,
but it was tough.
Should have been a pick.
Should have been.
But Ramir fought for it and, didn't give up. Look what it turned into. That was an awesome play. I think that made top 10 that night.
Yeah.
But, man, you're so right. And you set the tone early on defense. This D-line is legit. And I truly believe this. And this quarterback is legit. He made a few questionable throws. That one that was caught on like the 3-yard line, kind of close to the end of the first half. That's maybe a pick 50% of the time. I think kind of got lucky on that.
Just the stronger guy.
There's a few throws where it's like, okay, maybe against a little better defense, who knows what happens with those throws, but he made them. But it doesn't matter.
Nebraska goes out, no turnovers again in the game. Perfect storm, right? You had the 94 championship team come back. They got their own tunnel walk. Will Compton back up on the screen, lighten it up again. I said this earlier to a bunch of people. Like, I woke up yesterday morning, my left ear was still ringing from the noise.
Yeah.
Now, third quarter, second half, a lot to be desired.
I feel bad because my buddy and we were at the game, and there was there was a woman in front of us, and of course we're yelling. We're fans at the game, and we want to be loud.
Sorry,
she's covering her ears,
well,
and I don't know. Part of me felt bad because I'm probably making this woman go deaf.
Not worried about it,
but I can't stop yelling.
You can't stop.
I'll tell you why I'm excited about this after Saturday. I truly believe if you have a good quarterback and a good I think good teams have a good quarterback and a good defensive line. We have that.
We have all the parts. We are, and we look like a Big Ten football team.
Yes.
And we're playing like it from a physicality standpoint, to mistake-free pretty much. Now, there is a part of this that is I'm worried about. I want to go to the negative. And I know we blocked a field goal and all that, right?
That was awesome.
The return game was solid. My goodness. Buschini was pretty good, right? I'm worried about if we ever have to kick a field goal.
Because we did miss one.
32 yards left. We also give up a 61-yard return. The return was a little but I don't know. I'm worried.
About
that
game?
Part. Yes. We're going to have games where it's going to come down to that margin.
Yes.
Decisions. Like, again, we did go for it a few times on fourth down just because we were in no man's land at that time. We went, 0-0, but it was like a penalty cost. We did some penalties, a lot of penalties. I know a lot of people are like pissed off about the quarter. A lot of penalties coming from the same sideline, right? Irritating. I think it was Alvano kicked the ball.
Was it Alvano?
Left.
Yeah, he hooked it. Or he pulled it.
I'd be a little worried. Everything else, by the way, offense, complete game. Right now,
well,
people have asked the question about what's it going to be like this week coming up. I think the mantra as a coach is we didn't really do that great in the second half. We never finished it. We haven't played a full one. We played a full half. But now you got to figure out how to play the full game.
Yeah.
Because you're staring. Again, they talk about going 1-0 each week, and that's the right mantra. You're staring what we've talked about. If you continue to play this type of football, look where you're at right now. You're ranked 23 in the coaches, right?
think you're 24 in the coaches.
24, 23 AP. First time since 2016. First time since 2016 we've won 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think first time
since 19 that we've been 19, in the polls.
Yeah, which is crazy to think. Wasn't that a Frost year?
Yes, and now you're starting to get that conversation. I don't want to get way out in advance about that. Now they got their little bowl playoff predictions. You're on the first 4 outline right now.
Yeah, you're doing what you need to do.
You did what you needed to do this weekend.
Yeah.
You did. You controlled the line. You were more physical. You beat them up front.
Going into halftime, you're like, we're making these guys kind of look silly.
We wanted the party to continue.
They could not move the ball. It was tough to watch. I mean, our defense just looked outstanding.
It was a lot of fun to watch. Them be confused. Them not know what to do. This high-powered offense.
Yeah. I mean, people don't forget last year and how these kids acted before that game.
Again, think about, a couple years back, we had leads in these games.
Yep.
Right? Again, what it goes back to also, we fixed it for a game or so. We didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
We didn't turn the ball over.
And we could hit, too.
We can hit.
And another thing I noticed, how many times in the past 4 years did we see a defense of ours, scrambling pre-snap, communicating to each other, not being ready when the ball is snapped? I mean, I didn't see that once. These guys know what they're doing.
At some point, I know we're talking about the flags. We got to clean it up. 12 for like 105 yards in the game. We got to clean it up at some point. Whether you agree with all the flags or not, that series, there were so many flags at the end, and was like, man, we scored twice on the series with a holding call.
Yeah.
Regardless of the thought. And I know there were, I told people this. There were people, complaining in the area I was in. These refs had a bad day on both sides, I thought. Now, more against us, it felt like, right? But they had a bad day overall. These Big 10 officials, Big 12.
This is going to be another officiating year.
I don't know. I hope not.
It seems like that's the trend we're going to.
But what a fun night, man. What a fun night. You send
awesome.
them back. Now you've answered a lot of questions on your side going 2-0. You're over that little hump. Question being is now 6:30 Northern Iowa coming to town. Can you get back up? Can you get to a clean game? Can we get to a point where we're taking this game over and you get your 2s and 3s into the game like we did in week 1?
Yeah.
That's a huge piece for the development of the 2s and 3s, because you never know when you're going to need the 2s and the 3s.
Man, you're now in that national spotlight. You have edged your way there. You're nationally ranked,
and you want to cautiously keep the talk down. We're back.
No, yeah.
Relax.
I mean, again, well, let's talk about this for a sec. I don't think Colorado's going to be worth a crap this year.
No. Nope.
They go up against just a mediocre defense. I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of people talking about that. You look at Colorado, which we don't care the rest of the way out. Baylor, UCF, K-State, they got a gauntlet for them.
Yeah, I can't see them. It's going to be tough to make a bowl game.
Nebraska needs to here's the deal. Just keep your head straight down, right? Keep your head down. This is what you got to do, because you got Northern Iowa. Got to stay focused. Get that 6:30. Then you really start, because go back. You get that Friday night game against Illinois, which they just upset Kansas.
I know. I was shocked.
Shocked with that one, going to Purdue, Rutgers, all that good
stuff.
Man,
there was a lot of stuff like that. You had Iowa go down.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
Last second.
Notre Dame, 5th in the nation, losing to Northern Illinois. Didn't we lose to them once upon a time?
We did, yes.
Yeah.
We did.
And they're ranked.
Pick sixes. Yeah, they're like 25, right?
Yeah.
Pick sixes.
Yeah, that was Tanner Lee throwing those 2 swing pass pick sixes.
By the way, that's another thing I kept telling people. I wish we'd retire that play. They ran it a few times. I hate that play.
I know, but we actually kind of ran it okay.
Yeah, I know we ran it. Didn't like it.
Hey, what do you think of Raiola kind of using his legs there in the first half?
He's going to use those in the right moments. In the right moments. Like, he's not going to be the first guy to take off. I'm glad we can get down and slide. Right?
Yeah. That D-line is
they're disruptive.
If we do a lot this year, it's because big part of it is that D-line. I truly believe these teams that win championships have a good quarterback and a good D-line. I'm not saying we're going to win the Natty, but I'm just saying we have a nice blueprint.
Yeah, they're just a little disruptive, aren't they?
It's a nice combination.
A lot of fun. So, all right, let's take our first break. And when we come back, we'll have Evan Blam, the Omaha World Herald.
You're listening to the Morning Hookup with Bill Hooks and Will Wilson. More coming up.
I appreciate you guys' confidence in the kicking game. Shane and Ryan 840. That's will be fine, Hooksy. I just scares me. That's a huge facet of the game that can really beat us up.
Yeah. It's funny because it's one thing that you don't really think about from that game.
No, it's not. But if you've seen like the big team, like we're used to kickers, right? And again, it didn't play in that game, but it will play at some point. Fuse Sunday, 20% hungover, 4% physically exhausted, 4% hearing impaired. So funny.
It was crazy. I mean, you were here for the Miami game. I was downtown for the Oregon game. It seemed like it can really compare to those two.
It could, but I don't know if any of those games, maybe the Miami game had the feeling of, I don't want to say hatred, but it felt like it. It felt like, I hate to use the phrase, but it felt personal to everybody in that stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt different in that stadium.
I think Colorado might be in trouble.
Right, for just like the golf swing. Once he gets locked in back, he'll be money. Yeah, but I hope you're right. I'm hoping for the kid. You're right. Okay, or whoever ends up kicking.
There were some odd scores, like,
and we got a punt block too, right?
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, I think they blocked a punt. Yeah. So
it was weird. I told you this.
It wasn't perfect.
I hate to be this guy, but the third quarter when we didn't do a whole lot, did nothing. I just like, all right, they scored at 28-10. I'm like, oh man, is this where we make that mistake?
Yeah. No, but we held them.
It kind of hurt a little bit. We did, but it's like, do we make that mistake? We're not used to Nebraska clean non-turnover games, right?
We didn't have it.
A fumble,
we've given up.
We only have one turnover, right, in the season so far? I think one. Dowdell's fumble.
Yeah, it was one fumble. I think. How many points we've given up?
7 and 17 total.
17 points in 2 games.
Yep. And we really have not. If you look at like the blitz rates and all that, if you're that kind of guy, person you want to go look at all those, it's very low so far on the blitz rate. Showing off anything exotic,
which is crazy because that shows
week 1 was 0, by the way.
I know, but this Saturday you said we had 6 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's our D line. That's all our D line.
I want to say they pressured him over 20 times. Evan Bland coming up, man. Something lost in the shuffle was fall baseball too, by the way. Sorry, that was fall season kicked off. Evan Bland. If you guys have any questions for Evan, shoot them at us too. Also, boy, thanks everybody hanging out for the real rare reaction as well. Heard it was a good one.
Yeah, by the way, we needed to talk about Colt McCoy because
I heard he was a disaster. I got a lot of comments.
It wasn't even just him. I thought the play-by-play guy wasn't the best
either.
All
terrible.
But, it was his first game.
Don't care.
You're not going to be perfect your first game. I didn't think Tom Brady was perfect.
I didn't even listen to Tom Brady talk. I was doing a bunch of stuff. Welcome back in the morning hookup. Happy Victory Monday. Let's bring in our guy, Evan Bland from the Omaha World Herald. And we get to say it for the first time because we were gone the Labor Day after we got a win. But happy Victory Monday, Evan.
Happy Victory Monday, guys. How are you holding up?
We're good. We're good. When you say that each week, we've stacked a couple wins now, 2-0, first time since I think 16 or something like that. But when you got to say Happy Victory Monday or see the victory, was it just for you? And I know for a lot of people, a little bit more sweeter when you say it after beating Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that Nebraska fans love to hate, and I think vice versa. The thing about the Colorado rivalry to me is like it's the one enduring one that's that's kind of stuck with Nebraska through its transition to the Big Ten. So like, it's still that one team where, hey, if you're 60 and you want to hate Colorado for what happened in the 80s or the 90s, you can do that. If you're, in your 30s or 40s and you want to talk about restore the order and stuff from the 2000s, you can do that. If you're, a college kid now, you can talk about, 2018 or 2019 and some of those games too. And so like, it was one of those moments Saturday night where it just sort of felt like it brought everybody wearing red together. And you saw that, that's part of the reason you saw field storming from the students, I think an immensely satisfying win for a lot of people that want to see the Buffs lose. If you talk about Shiloh Sanders leaving with what looked like a broken forearm, or Shedeur Sanders getting pulled because he was beaten up by the defense. In the fourth quarter, that's red meat to Husker fans. So, again, who knows how good Colorado is? Maybe they end up going 4-8 again. But in the moment last night, when you talk about recruiting momentum and just sort of a cathartic experience for the fans, what a scene it was in Lincoln, and one that's well overdue for a lot of people that have been going to these games and leaving disappointed for a long time.
We're talking to Evan Bland with the Omaha World Herald. Evan, talk about Raiola. What did you see from him on Saturday? I truly think, good teams that play and win a lot of games have a good quarterback and they have a good defensive line. And I think you have both of those.
Yeah, I think Raiola did exactly what Nebraska needed him to do. He took care of the football, no giveaways again. We even saw him run a little bit. He had that long third down conversion where he pulled it down and scrambled for a first, and that led to a touchdown. And then just, solid decisions. And it wasn't a flashy day for him. There weren't a ton of passing yards or even a ton of passing touchdowns, but he just directed the offense. And in the second half, they didn't score any points, but they were up 4 scores. And so they just they managed the game really well. And I think that becomes increasingly clear. I think it was clear before the season, but it's even more so now that they don't need him to be a Heisman Trophy contender. They just need him to go out there and make sound decisions, go through his progressions, get the ball in space to whoever, in terms of the running backs or the receivers, and let the other parts of the team do the rest. The defense, when you have a defense that's getting home on quarterbacks with 4-man rushes as consistently as Nebraska is, that's going to buy you a lot of margin for error. And you talk about, you still have a veteran O-line, and you still have these other game-breaking pieces. I think Ja'Cory Barney, he's a big play waiting to happen as soon as the holding calls go away. So I think Raiola fits exactly where you want him to at this point with this Nebraska team, and the way that they played complementary football. That's the recipe, needs to be the recipe every week. So another really encouraging start for him. And, you talk about stacking games and wins, he's just building that experience up now with the Big Ten a couple weeks away. So I think they're all in a pretty good space.
Again, we're speaking to Evan Bland with the Omaha World Herald. Evan, talk about this statement, because I said this morning. We finally look like a Big Ten football team. We just look like one, whether it be Ty and Nash up front, Scott Mazuka, the wide receivers, tight end physicality. We finally, I think, we're looking the part as a Big Ten football team.
Yeah, I think so. The lines, like you mentioned, certainly. Ty Robinson looked like a monster out there deflecting that first pass and then just breaking through the line, just asserting himself on that third down sack. And then you had Nash doing it at the same thing on the next drive, and Jamari Butler coming around the edge and getting home. And they were just coming in waves. And you talk about looking like a Big Ten team. I always think back to the other end of the spectrum and how far Nebraska's come. I always think back to the 2018 game at Michigan, where you saw those guys warming up, the Wolverines, and it was like, holy cow. These guys were physical freaks, and Nebraska just didn't match up. And now they do. You look and you see the explosiveness, and you see the frames, the size, the strength, certainly on the lines, but I think also at those skill spots. You have tall receivers, you have explosive ones. The secondary is really good. You see the photo going around of Tommy Hill's interception, that pick six, where he's 2 feet plus in the air, curving his torso to the side and pulling in that football. I mean, that's an NFL player right there. That's a high draft pick next spring doing what he does. So, as much as the scheme has been good and the culture has been good, I think just as much a part of what Nebraska's doing is they have dudes. They have physical specimens who have been trained up, who know what their roles are, and they're going out and they're having a ton of fun on Saturdays. So that's certainly a part of it, and I would expect it to continue to be the case as they get into Big Ten play here in a week or two.
Yeah, and Evan, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, there was a few things. Any concerns from your side after that game? Maybe the kicking game, the penalties. What concerned you?
Yeah, I mean, the penalties thing kind of seemed like a little bit of a fluke. I don't know how many of those calls would hold up necessarily. Maybe half. But yeah, I think the kicking situation is certainly one to keep your eye on. It remains, I think, somewhat unclear whether Tristan Alvano is fully healthy from that groin that he had in camp. So maybe he's not, maybe he is, and there's just kind of a mental component that goes into it. But at some point, I mean, the coaches are going to have to make a decision whether you feel comfortable putting Alvano out there in a key spot. If Nebraska's trying to take a lead or turn a 1-score game into 2, you're going to have to decide, one, do you stick with Alvano or do you give John Hole a chance? And then beyond that, I mean, if you're really not feeling it, it might force Nebraska into situations where it's going to have to go for it on 4th down, and situations where it may not prefer to do that. So something to keep an eye on. It hasn't been an issue because Nebraska's won comfortably in both games so far. It probably won't be an issue this week with Northern Iowa, but it might be against Illinois, an Illinois team that could be ranked a week from Friday when they get together in Lincoln. So that's something you look at. But yeah, I think it's overall, and you heard the players talk about it afterwards. They know that they didn't play a perfect game, but man, I mean, if we would have said a week ago that Nebraska doesn't score in the second half, they have the most penalties they've ever had in the Matt Rule era. They had a punt blocked. Would you say that Nebraska wins that game? Probably not. I don't think I would. And so the fact that all that happened and they still won by multiple scores, I think tells you, one, what the floor of this team has been, but then 2, I mean, there's still plenty of room to grow and achieve that level that they're chasing every week. So certainly there are issues, but I think it's also true that they're 2 games in. They get another home game against an FCS team here this week to smooth out some more wrinkles. And I think it sets up really well for this team to be playing its best football when the games take on a different sort of weight and the Big Ten arrives.
Hey, Evan, also talk about, you mentioned Dowdell earlier, but it seems like presumably now, I know it's only game 2, but it feels like they've got their 1-2 now, whether it's Ramir and Dowdell than everybody else. Talk about those two and what they do and complement each other with.
Yeah, I think that was one of the maybe developments from the Colorado game was they kind of went from that 4-way number 1 at running back to more of the 1-2 punch that you mentioned there. And I think they've earned it for what it's worth. I mean, Dowdell's the guy, the kind of the bruiser who can plow through the interior of a line. He's the one who broke Shiloh Sanders' forearm on a big hit. So like that's the kind of power that he brings. And then Ramir's the wily veteran, explosive guy who's a threat in the passing game. He's the guy that Nebraska is most comfortable with being in there on 3rd downs, just for his versatility. You don't necessarily know how they're going to use him or where he's going to line up. His day could have been a lot bigger if not for, a penalty or 2 as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think they found a good balance there with the differing skill sets. And you still have Emmett Johnson and Gabe Irvin, who've both been starters and feature backs for Nebraska at different points in the last year or 2. So they do have some depth there. I think, you hope they avoid injury, but they do have that depth if something were to crop up as the season goes along. And, you're going to talk about Raiola and sort of the skilled players at receiver, but it does seem like they have that 1-2 punch that they can use situationally to, move the ball on the ground when they want to.
Evan, a couple more before we get you out of, man. Appreciate your time as always. I guess lost in the shuffle was that the baseball team got back to fall practice, right?
Yeah. back at it, man. It's and a lot of familiar faces over there. Outside of your Friday night battery with Brett Sears and Josh Caron, like it's pretty much everyone back who had a major role in that team last year. So I was struck by that when they had a little media session last week, and it's a really sound group. They added a couple guys in the portal that we've talked about: Hogan Haligso, the catcher from Creighton, and Cale Frost, the Summit League Player of the Year outfielder from South Dakota State. So I haven't looked into it too in depth at this point, but man, I don't know how you don't put Nebraska right near the top next spring as a favorite in the Big Ten. Really, the only team I'd have to check into a little more would be Oregon and what they bring back. But especially when you just talk about the teams that were in the league last year, Illinois didn't get better. Penn State lost a lot from the team that made the Big Ten tournament final. So it's hard in college athletics in any sport now to get old and to retain kind of your key pieces year to year. And Nebraska's been able to do that. So their fall ball is a really interesting one, because a lot of the positions, if they wanted to, they could just kind of roll out the same guys. But they have the transfers that I mentioned, as well as a lot of younger guys who had really good summers, like Max Butenbach and Will Jeske, Tucker Timmerman on the mound, Ty Horns. Like, there are a lot of guys that I think still could make a move. So it's a year where, Nebraska is a little more veteran, but they can't really be complacent because of, that next wave of guys that are challenging. So it should be a really interesting fall.
Yeah, been awesome stuff. They're 12 days away from I believe, a scrimmage, right? I think Wichita State comes to town.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so we're getting close to a little fall baseball. Some great stuff. So, Evan, man, we appreciate your time. It's always on a Victory Monday, sir. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Evan Bland, Omaha Ward Hill, man. Good stuff from Evan. All right there. So let's take another break, and we're going to come back and, boy, hit quick hitting stories, NFL and Major League Baseball.
You're listening to the Morning Hookup with Bill Hooks and Will Wilson. More coming up.
Thanks,
what's
Evan.
funny?
Good stuff.
I was just thinking about this. We're ranked.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like a lot of people are like freaking out about it. And I think it's because we think it's legit.
There was a lot of times you hear the media talk about blah, 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 blah. And we've talked about it, how the schedule's set up if Nebraska were to do things like this, look at
I don't want to say what I read.
It could be a darling. It could be a darling when you look at it. I mean,
I don't want to say what I saw, because I feel like I might be jinxing it.
But
somebody said if we are undefeated going into Ohio State,
top 10 matchup,
and we beat them, I know that's saying a lot, but that's your top 5 team.
Look, man, they put you out there. They put you game 1 on Fox. They put you game 2 on NBC, Big Ten Network game 3. You're back on Fox for game 4. You had a 4-game audition, right? To be those dudes from the media perspective. Just putting your games 6:30 national on Fox, 6:30. I mean, just 2:30 national, 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're like helping you out, saying we want you to be good, and we're going to give you. And we know the schedule's a little soft, right, early, right? But you have a chance to be those dudes.
Should I open this mail from Ernesto?
By the way, Nora must have watched the Iowa. She said the Iowa State game was intense. By the way, can you read all of that? That made me laugh so much. Like where it's from.
Oh, it said it's from.
I read this last week.
It's from the American Association of Broadcasters in Jacksonville, Florida. It's lettered to Will Wilson, KFOR confidential, and that means you www do not open. Yeah,
mine's got a sticker on it. See the sticker? Mine's got a sticker on it.
Let's see here.
Morning, Greg. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss you.
Well, hope this can help you get some extra tips per my call a few days ago. And please give a few to Dr. Dane, Todd, and Bill, and maybe the Miss G. Is that wait? Hope you shake off that funky feeling and feel better soon. Huh. P.S. This is for when you are hungover and crawled back to the downtown crib. Your fave caller listener, Ernesto.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Coach, you're the greatest. What it says in the front of mine. Just want to take your time out to say thanks. Bill, I got to get my glasses. Hard to find Florida coaches, even harder. Love the show and your energy for life. Keep being Will's field training officer. Coach to coach, Raider guy to Raider guy, family guy to family guy, dad to dad. Enjoy the poker chip ball marker. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Murray Brothers.
You got that? I got coasters.
Thank you, brother. Well, he knows you like to drink more than I do.
Oh, whatever. Hey, thanks, Ernesto.
Thank you,
that
Ernesto.
means
That's
a lot.
really nice.
Thank you, man.
Really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a great Monday to come here and be like, again, I keep saying, like, winning on a Saturday, no matter who it is, when you wake up on a Sunday, what do you feel like? Amazing. People are in their yards mowing the grass. Music's playing, birds chirping. They got red on.
Yeah, can we?
You don't care about watching the NFL. You're like, yeah, I don't care. Let's watch it.
Can we?
Day drinking, Sunday funnies are easier. My buddy Murray is nicer. Oh.
It was a sweet victory, huh?
I mean, it was. I just love that. I love that song. Before we get to NFL, again, special thanks, Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald, hanging out with us. Before we get to NFL real quick, let's just look at Major League Baseball. I just want to look at the standings and see where we're at, because we got 143 games roughly for teams. Okay. Not many weeks left, right? Yankees right now, they're holding to a slim half-game lead, man. That might be the best race coming down right now. That race, when you look at it. And everybody, it doesn't matter. Boston 10 out. The Central, baby. Here we go. Kansas City just 2.5 back.
They get a big
sweep.
Big sweep of the Twins at home.
That was big because, by the way, they were reeling just a little bit because they won 4 straight now. They've only won 4 of their last 10. They were 4-6 in their last 10 by winning 4 straight now.
What?
It was a monumental. But when you look at it, they were 4 in their last 10. They're 4-6.
It's unbelievable. Losing Vinny to a broken thumb sucks.
You would have thought that would have been the complete.
Well, that's why we
demise, right?
Well, that's why we lost how many straight, like you said.
Yes. Kind of got their heads down a little bit, probably, and
they made a few. I'll tell you what, they brought in Tommy Pham, and he pretty much won 2 games for us out of these last 4 games. So what a pickup by
big
him.
time. So they're there. Houston 4.5 games up. That looks like it's going to be kind of whatever in that. The NL not so close if you look at it. Now you got in the East, Philadelphia. They've been doing this all year long. They're 7 games up on both the Braves and the Mets. Okay, both. The Mets, by the way, hottest team in baseball. They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Wow.
Talking about making a run. We thought they were dead early in the season.
Yeah.
Way out. Milwaukee 9 games up. I think that's a foregone. They're done. San Diego they're holding on 6 games back in the division, but the Dodgers have won 7 out of 10. When you look at theirs, I think more interesting in these races when you look at the wild cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Orioles number 1 spot. They're way up in that one. Royals now have a 6 game lead, 6 game cushion in the wild card.
Oh.
Okay. Now
easy.
They do.
I know you're getting excited.
They do. The Twins, the third spot. How about looking at this? You thought you would have never heard this. And I know it's a long shot. When you look at the percentages, what I'm about to tell you, this team only has a 7% chance of making the playoffs, according to CBS. The Tigers are 3.5 back, as well as the Mariners, both 3.5 back of the final spot of the wild card.
The Tigers have literally risen from the dead.
Are you kidding me?
Here they are.
My gosh.
It's like you didn't even 2 weeks ago, they weren't even thought of. Now they have a chance to make the playoffs.
The NL wild card is even more stacked up when you look at it. The Padres have a 2-game lead. They're in the 1 spot. They're only 2 games up. Okay. Diamondbacks in the 2 spot, 1.5. Braves and Mets are both tied for the final wild card spot. Right now, it says the Braves are in 3rd. They must have a tiebreaker against the Mets right now. But you have 4 teams that are separated by 2 games.
Okay.
For the wild card, 3 spots.
And when you look at a team like the Cubs, they're
gone.
They're 5 out. Do you think 5 out is too much road?
Too much. And there's too many teams to overcome. I think it's too much. And right now, And again, I'm the percentage guy. I always read it. They give them a 1.9% chance based on what's left for them.
Okay.
Right now, if you look at it, Mets have a 65% chance. Braves have a 61% chance. I would agree with that. The Braves have been really hurt, and I think they're reeling right now still.
Yikes.
Don't think they have enough left in the tank.
Well, it's like you said, it's hard to pay attention to baseball, but
it is. So
right now, if you're a Royals fan, you're dialed in.
You're dialed in for sure.
This
Locally,
team is special
for sure. So let's go to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on the morning hookup.
Cornhuskers back by popular demand.
Let's go.
Too bad the Jags aren't.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Hey, well, I'll take 2 out of 3, man. UCF and the Huskers, life is good. I'm not going to mention the bedwetters. Don't worry about that. I would like some 3-year-old age Rule Aid with that prime time butt whooping for sure. Ryan, can you get me some of that? Oh,
wow.
Lord.
Oh man, it was awesome, right? You watched it on TV.
Oh God, I think I had a whole bunch of red balloons fly by this morning.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh man, it was awesome. I'm going to let everybody else call in. Y'all deserve it more than me. Y'all have lived it. I'm kind of a bandwagon guy because of my uncle going there and all that, but I love it, and life is good. You guys deserve the best. I'll call you back later this week.
Thanks Ernesto. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for the letter, man. That was nice.
Yes,
thanks,
very
man.
nice. Thanks, Ernesto. Whew, boy, it is a good day to be a Husker.
You know what? I had a fantastic weekend.
Nothing
you know
can
why?
change it, really, right? Nothing can change it. Like, it's,
Nebraska,
again, something could happen. I get it. Don't be the people out there, but man,
I had a great. Not only did I celebrate some weddings, but Nebraska won. The Royals swept the Twins. The Vikings blew out the Giants. It was a great weekend.
What is going on? You had a decent weekend. Our picks, by the way, 7-6-1. You missed a game. You missed the Dolphins game, which you probably would have picked the Dolphins.
Who did they play?
The Jags.
Oh, I don't know. I probably would have picked the Jags.
Yeah, you would have lost. You would have won. You would have won.
I probably would have picked the Jags.
We're just kind of cruising right quick. You were 7-6-1. I was 4-10-1. Good start, Hooks, but it's not how you start. How you finish.
That's
long
right.
way to go. Boy, Bills get it done. 34-28. Josh Allen accounts for 4 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 2 pass.
Yeah, I'm actually developing a list of teams that may not be good, but these are teams that I am going to pick to cover a lot.
All right.
Okay.
Look at you.
And the Cardinals are on that list. They probably could have won that game. Very close game. A majority of that.
They were a winner by
60 minutes.
They were a winner by a half click, by the way.
I know.
believe that we both played that at 6.5.
They covered. Yeah.
They got it done.
So that's one of the teams on my list. What am I labeling this list? Covered teams.
Covered
Put it
teams.
that. They're one of my covered teams.
Boy, Panthers are still bad. Bryce Young is still bad, by the way.
They look
my gosh.
They look
Derek
like a
Carr,
mess.
3 touchdowns. Kamara, 83 and a touch. Boy, Bright, that's bad.
They look bad.
They look bad.
They look really bad.
Really good matchup.
By the way, it as we get farther into this, is it okay to overreact like this after week 1?
No. I think yes, it is okay.
You think it's okay?
I think it's okay. I think Bryce Young is just bad.
After week 1, we're calling the Panthers terrible.
Yes.
Even though we've seen one game.
I think bottom.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's okay to do that. We're full overreaction here.
Yep, full on. Really good game. Texans hold on to get it done. 29-27. CJ goes Stroud 234, 2 touchdowns. Mixon, what a debut. 30 carries, 159, had a touchdown. Anthony Richard, really back. Welcome back. 2 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. They lose 29-27, though.
Another team I'm putting on my cover list, the Colts.
That's a good one.
The Colts. I think they're going to be in a lot of games this year. If Richardson stays healthy, of course.
I agree. A really good game as well. 20-17. The Dolphins get it done behind 3:38 from Tua Tagovailoa with a touchdown. His 1 touchdown, by the way, came from the early detained Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
For 80 yards, 7 reset, 130 and a touch. Lawrence, too many costly turnovers in this game. 162 and a touchdown. Lose 2017. Jags cover.
So what the hell happened?
Some moving traffic violation. It's to be determined. We have no idea. You just see video of something. There's been an officer there that there's been talk about too much force. There's been one suspended pending investigation. A lot of craziness going on here.
This is exactly like Scotty Scheffler.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Pretty much exactly the same situation and everything.
Doesn't it?
And he gets there and he hits an 80-yard bomb.
Boom. And then they do the thing.
Jags cover that one.
Yep. Jets cover. No, Jags
cover that.
In a surprise, by the way, Jamar Chase does play. Patriots 16-10. They get it done against the Bengals.
Well, traditionally, if you were a handicapper this week and you were looking at this game, you should have been on the Pats because Joe Burrow historically has been terrible early in the year, specifically week 1. Like really, really bad.
I mean, the Bengals get 224 yards of offense. They're unable to run the ball, and they give up 170 on the ground.
And my third and final team on my cover list is the Patriots.
Oh, boy. In another game, Steelers behind Justin Fields get 6 field goals. And then they beat the Falcons. Kirk Cousins with
he didn't look good.
Bad debut, 18-10. Yuck.
Not good.
In a really weird game, and Caleb Williams debut only 93 yards pass and did not play well. They get some returns in this game. They get it. They were down 17-3 at half.
Yeah, people are wondering how they won this game because people are saying the Bears were still the Bears and they still won.
They were.
I think this more goes to how bad, the Titans blew it.
Yep.
They blew it. They turned it over, and
Bo Nix had to take his first start as a rookie out to Seattle. And it was a mixed bag, I guess. Couple interceptions, did score on the ground, but Geno and that group, they get a lot of yards. Kenneth Walker, the third, 103. Lockett, 77 yards, 26-20.
Yeah.
That's a push game, by the way. That was the push game.
Oh, that was push?
That was the push game.
Seahawks, I'm still kind of waiting to see what they're like. If Kenneth can be that every game, like this may be his come-out year. Like I'm not sure the last 2 years if he's been really all that. That team could be okay.
Chargers get their first victory under Jim Harbaugh out there, 22-10.
Yeah, they take down the Raiders.
He's just an awkward guy. They showed Harbaugh. Gosh, his post game, it's just weird.
A lot of people were liking it.
Who's better than us?
That was, I don't know how good the Raiders are going to be. Did you see that play by Minshew? He cocks back to throw, and he throws it, and he just loses the ball.
Jeez.
And it turns into a fumble, and it was just hard to watch because I like Minshew. How can you root against the guy? I don't know how good they're going to be.
A team that everybody's going to say, man, maybe they look the best in opening week 1 against a supposed to be very talented Browns defense. Dak Prescott gets that monster contract right before the game, goes out 19 of 32, 179, 1 touchdown. Zeke Elliott, 40 yards. CD 61. Deshaun Watson looked terrible.
No, and this is a year.
Their call is a lot of people saying maybe it's give him another way, maybe another shot, maybe it's coaching, putting him in the wrong situations. But Jameis Winston sitting over there ready to go.
Let's not forget what this guy's getting paid.
I know that's the problem. He's got a lot of guaranteed dollars.
I know he's coming off injury, but he hasn't done jack since he got to Cleveland. That is blowing up in their faces quickly. That needs to change quick. Or else, he's out of there.
Jalen Daniels, again, rookie starter. Not bad. Mixed bag, probably 17-24, 184. No touchdowns, no picks. Did rush for 88 yards as well in the game. But outdone by one Baker Mayfield. 24 of 30, 289, 4 touchdown passes in the air. They get it done 37-20.
He is early on the MVP radar.
Yep.
He really is.
Tell you what, wow. He is. Great game last night if you got a chance to watch it. The Lions prevail at home in overtime, 26-20. It was a battle, man. I watched this whole game. What a battle. Obviously, Stafford going back. These are the two guys that were traded for each other. But it was a lot of fun. Stafford and that team, I think they're going to be sneaky good, by the way.
Yeah, I think so, too.
They could be sneaky good. Stafford made some throws. Now, they were beat up, by the way. They lost like 2 linemen. Puka re-injured a knee that I think he had in camp.
Oof.
Don't have a report on him. But Stafford, 34, 49, 317. Fifth, though, 1 pick. Cost him a little bit. Cooper Kupp picked up the slack, 14 for 110.
Yeah, but if he could stay healthy, because he struggled with that's a nice weapon, man.
Goff, 18-22, 17 touch and a pick. Dave Montgomery was their workhorse, by the way, in the final, in the overtime, 17 for 91. He scored the winning touchdown. Williams, by the way, 5 catches, 121 in that game. He found a good target that he really liked.
What else you got?
Well, we already talked. Eagles, they got it done in Brazil, 34-29. Ravens, boy, what a close game that was. Just by the toe.
Yeah, by the way, I took Andrews pretty early in my fantasy draft, and that's really hurting me. Yeah, big
tonight, big Monday night game tonight, man. What a way to kick it off. And I know we kicked it off kind of this way last year, didn't we? The Jets and Aaron Rodgers will go in to the Bay.
Who do I have?
Niners. You've got, I think we're both on the Jets.
We're on the
Let me
Jets.
look at the text. I didn't write it. I wrote it, the games we played. You were on the Jets.
I like the Jets. Okay.
The Jets.
By the way, are you intentionally skipping over a game to make me mad?
Yes.
The one game
I didn't
skipped over.
I didn't intentionally skip over. I just actually didn't read it. That's on me. I didn't even see it.
How about those Vikings?
Yeah, what'd they do? Oh, yeah, 28-6. I actually skipped right over
28-6
I
over
didn't
the
mean,
Giants.
I didn't mean to.
Sam Darnold looked good.
Yeah, he did.
And this is something that Vikings fans are used to, where
24, 2 interceptions. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jones was a good guy, by the way. 14 for 94 for a touch. Daniel Jones, bad again.
Now, we've been in this position before where we get a new quarterback and they look great in week 1, and then it quickly fizzles out from there. So I'm waiting and seeing. I want to see a few more weeks to see what Darnold does, see that this isn't a fluke, beginner's luck. So give me a few weeks and I'll get back to you on.
Just wait. You're holding out. You're not jumping off quick yet.
But Giants fans are. Have you seen? They're already burning Daniel Jones's jersey. Like he did not look good at all. The Giants look terrible.
Oh, I've seen. Speaking of terrible, I've seen a lot of comments. Maybe we'll get to it. We don't have a lot of time rest of today, but Colt McCoy thing, boy, terrible.
He didn't. Look
I heard
good.
it was terrible.
No,
I heard both of them were terrible. I didn't listen to any of it.
I
read
bad.
A lot about it.
And to be fair, it's his first ever game. Like you're not going to be perfect. It's not easy. Trust me. I call games on the radio. It is not
easy to jump in like that. And I guess I heard mixed reviews on Tom Brady, by the way.
Yeah, Brady was okay. Again, same thing. He's got to settle in and learn. You're not going to be great the first time, but he wasn't bad. I want him to be more. I want him to say more. I want him to open up a little bit, like be smarter.
Would Brady?
Yeah.
I wonder how much he's holding back with all the stuff that's going on with the Raiders ownership and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. He could be a lot better if he just speaks his mind and shows his true knowledge. Ryan said, be Romo.
Ryan, I said, fans said, don't play wide receiver 1 against Patrick Surtain. Pretty good, and he got a lot of money coming up. So Shane all said Andrews who's going to take some of those snaps. Oh boy, you know what I'm excited about? Victory Monday. Enjoy your Monday. Tomorrow, I'm really excited to have Brian Munson and Robin Watt, but Brian Munson, there was a lot of visitors. I want to figure out what happened with that. So you guys have a great Monday. Will and I will catch you on a Tuesday.